All right, all
Welcome,
right.
welcome everybody.
Yes.
I'm sorry, David, didn't mean to step on you,
Oh,
but
no, no, no,
welcome
no.
everybody to another episode of You Can't Make This Shit Up. That is your main host, the man of the hour, David Washington, and I'm Joel Huxley. And this is a JN Washington Network production. We thank everybody from our interns to our producers for the hard work that they put in on these things. David, I just want to really get started because collecting petitions is going to be our topic, and it's going to be talking about the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Atlanta is actually set to hear the oral arguments regarding a lawsuit against the Florida Senate Bill 7050. Again, people that are watching, it's Florida Senate Bill 7050. And now this legislation mandates that the organizations aiding you. Shoot, it mandates that organizations aiding U.S. citizens in voter registration must file an affirmation confirming that those handling the registration are U.S. citizens or risk a fine of up to $50,000. And those in protest to this legislation state that it's imperative to have Latino canvassers who speak Spanish to reach out to the Hispanic population. Let's go. I mean, David, this is very interesting topic that we have on our plate today.
It is, and it hits home for us because as your political innovators and in the business of campaign management, we work with our business partners, particularly door-to-door I-4, who provide us with our traditional and digital canvassing services. And understanding what door-to-door I-4 does, they do hire individuals who are Spanish speaking, specifically Spanish speaking, because there is a demographic in the service area that is predominantly Spanish speaking. And some of those individuals are not citizens of America, of the United States. And so this does hit home. Now, granted, door to door does most of its canvassing when it's voter outreach, not necessarily registration, but there are those moments where they are registering people very rarely. And I see how this particular legislation, from a business perspective, does hamper the opportunity to fill a need and to get the job done of registering a demographic that is not necessarily dynamically involved in the electoral process.
Well, I mean, yeah, David, I totally agree. There's not enough American citizens that, U.S. citizens that speak Spanish. I mean, come on, we don't have any of those, so we might as well just like get people to influence our vote that don't even live in our country. So, okay, I'll I'll I'll, I'll take that sarcasm and go with that. Okay. So, no, David, we need to secure the voter registration integrity. We have to uphold the state sovereignty. We need to support the compliance and the accountability. And we need to protect voter rights. Okay. You can't have foreign influence involved in your election process. You can't have foreign influence in getting people registered to vote. That's the point here.
So how are people influenced? If you could give me an example of how an
Well, they're
individual's
not supposed to.
influence,
Well,
if
you're not supposed to. You're
if
not
if
supposed
if
to be
someone
partisan.
if someone is Spanish speaking and they are not a citizen, they're non-citizen, and they come to
Mhm.
the door and they say to your door, or while you're walking down the street, and ask you if you're registered to vote. You say no. They say, would you like to register? You say yes. Where is the interference? Where is the problem in that?
So Senate Bill 750, what it aims to do is ensure that the integrity of voter registration by requiring organizations assisting citizens to register to vote to have U.S. citizenship if they're handling those registrations.
Okay.
Okay, this provision is crucial in upholding the standards of election processes and protecting us against potential fraud or misconduct.
Okay, but if someone again, if you could give me an example of fraud, if a canvasser is trained to collect petitions, and there's trainings available through the supervisor of elections office. So, and I know there's organizations that also provide this training. So if someone is trained to do the right thing, there's quality assurance. There is um, there's safeguards in place, and then of course that information is reviewed by the Division of Elections. Where where is there an attack on the integrity of the vote? I, I I'm trying to understand. When you know that most of the fraud happens during an election, when someone multiple when an individual votes several times, like out of the villages. That's
See, David wants to keep pointing out the villages because
that's where the cases have been.
that's the
That's
most
where
he
the
can
cases have
find to talk about the fact that, you know, listen, it is very clear that Donald Trump got beat up and down for having Russian
Y'all
interference in
keep Donald Trump in your
Russian
mouths. This
interference,
man's gonna
Russian
be
interference, Russian
elected.
interference. Listen, no U.S. citizen,
I'm talking
not a
about a
U.S. citizen,
canvas.
you shouldn't have anything to do with our elections. Period. End of story. If you're not a citizen, you should have no interaction in our election process. Period. You know, you have your own things to concern yourself with. Venezuela, you have a dictator you have to deal with. Okay, Mexico, hey, get your border under control so we don't have to have that problem. Listen, not a U.S. citizen, you shouldn't be working here in the United States unless you have a green card and eligible to vote. If you have a green card, that's a whole different story. So, David, I just think this is one of those things where we're saying that we want to secure our elections and we don't want foreign influence. Foreign influence can be that that individual may, now I'm not saying they're going to because it happens on both sides, they're going to, hey, maybe they don't want this many Republicans involved because they want Democrats and they don't happen to take those ballots, that, you know, those registrations that say, hey, I'm a Republican to the supervisor of election. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying just keep foreign influence out of our elections from the start to the finish.
So if I'm a return citizen and I serve my time and I want to work as a canvasser, would you prohibit me from collecting signatures?
Are you no longer
Even at one point,
longer a citizen?
I'm sorry.
You're no longer a citizen? Are you
I'm
return? Did you go
I'm
to
a re-
Canada to become a Canadian citizen?
I'm a return citizen. I committed a crime. I served my
It's not
time.
about
I'm
it.
a returned
This has
citizen
nothing to
now.
do with if you're a felon. This is simply saying if you're not a U.S. citizen, you do not register, have the right to register in the state of Florida.
So you don't want anyone who is not a U.S. citizen involved in any part of the process.
No, I don't.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I
Fair
don't want. I don't even want Putin to tell me who he wants for president. I don't
fair
want,
enough.
the Europeans to tell me what to do. No, I want our elections to be, by themselves, stand alone, influence. Not going to happen, but 750 is saying, look, sure you keep foreign influence out of the election process.
Despite the fact that the individuals who are canvassing for a particular organization and they're a non-citizen, they argue that their work is not imposing any particular uh, political ideology. They're just there to register people, to help people move along into the process and be eligible to vote. You're not
Again,
buying
there
that argument.
the excuse was used is that we don't have enough U.S. citizens that speak Spanish, and I call bullshit bullshit.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. We differ on that. I think it encourages civic engagement. And when that individual eventually becomes a citizen, hopefully, you know, they have a certain level of pride and will continue their engagement in their civic duty. And again, I believe the more people involved in our representative democracy, we are better people for it. We're a better nation for it. But we differ on this point.
Right. To take one side on this one, and that was the simplest way to do it is because,
Okay.
you know, yeah, it's a tough one.
It is. It is. And my friends at door to door, oh boy, you're gonna have to change your business plan.
No, that's they do what they need to do. I mean, if they're not doing registration, which they most of the time do
Right.
voter
Right.
registration.
Hmm.
Again, we have to our elections, and we shouldn't try to influence other people's elections. You know, you may please make comments. Just don't call me names like they did the other day, because you know what? I don't care about your feelings. I care about the facts.
There you go. That's our motto. And that piece, Joel, I'm with you on. And again, to our friends in our community, if you have any thoughts on this, please comment. Let us know. And we love to engage our community. Um, in regards to our own thoughts and what we talk about. So please make your comments. We will get to you. Continue that conversation. Share this information. Share our content with as many people that you know, your friends, your family, those politicals you know, those electeds that you know. We really would like to grow our community and hear as many voices as possible on this topic and many other topics. Joel, you want to send us out?
Yeah, and if you want to be a U.S. citizen, please get in touch with our congressmen. They have people standing by to offices and everything like that. 'Cause our government involved, so you can have your civic duty. Like, share, and subscribe. Listen, take a gander at 29 Days of Greatness. You don't usually get an extra day in February. This is Black History Month, and we're proud of what we're doing here at Jay in Washington, and we want to share it with you. Thank you.
Thank you.